Amy, thanks for taking care of my daughter over the past month. I'll come to pick her up tomorrow.
What are you talking about? Having been on a trip for a month, my sister-in-law, Sue, still seemed to be at the station, as I could hear the train transfer announcements over the phone. In contrast to my calm reply, she started to panic.
Wait, what? What are you saying? She's supposed to be with you, right? I left Mia in your apartment's garage, after all.
Mia, her daughter, is my niece. I haven't seen her. What are you talking about?
Stop playing dumb. I sent you a message, so you must know.
I didn't get any message.
No, that can't be. That's impossible.
Sue, apparently panicked, screamed over the phone.
What are you going to do about this? I left Mia in your care. If anything happens, it's on you.
After hanging up once, Sue tried calling Mia's kid's smartphone, but couldn't get through, and was still panicking. When she called me back, yelling even more, I suggested she should head home first.
That's true. Nice.
After she hung up, she immediately went home, only to find me, John, and Mia, the three of us together. Sue seemed puzzled, her mouth opening and closing as if to say, "Why are all three of you together?"
Sue, I've just heard everything from these two.
What?
At John's words, she turned pale. My name is Amy Smith. Until a few years ago, I worked a regular job. At 40, I decided to go independent and started working as a freelance illustrator. Since my income increased, I now live alone in an apartment. I basically work from home and rarely leave the house, mainly for occasional shopping or meetings with clients. I'm not married and don't have a boyfriend, but I'm satisfied with my life. Although my friends ask if I'm lonely, I've never really thought about it. I'm more fulfilled by my work and have no plans to look for a partner in the future. I'm just a little concerned about retirement, but sometimes I surprise myself by being rather optimistic, considering I tend to take things as they come. Today, after meeting a deadline for an illustration, I took a break at 3 p.m. and glanced at the calendar. I suddenly realized my brother's birthday was coming up soon. My brother, John, 5 years my senior, works as a salesperson at a major publishing company and often goes on long business trips. Sometimes, he brings souvenirs from his assignments. Last month, he casually dropped by and brought some rice crackers as a souvenir, so I invited him up for tea, and we enjoyed the crackers together. I keep telling you, it's fine for me. You should buy more for Sue and Mia.
But I have to see Amy once in a while, too. I'd hate for something to happen to you.
John has always been like this, caring and considerate, which are some of his best qualities. Sue and Mia are John's wife and daughter, making them my sister-in-law and niece, respectively. I haven't told John, but I find Sue a bit difficult to deal with. She's very bright, always sporting fashionable nails and trendy clothes, giving off a vibrant impression. It's not necessarily a bad thing, and it doesn't bother me too much, but she often looks down on me for being single. During a family gathering at New Year's, she burst into laughter when she found out I didn't have a spouse or even a boyfriend.
Hey, you're always so young and beautiful. Thinking of putting off marriage, huh? Ever heard of missing your marriage window?
Well, I think marriage and relationships are up to each person's values. It's not like you must have a partner. I replied. Sue laughed again at that. I couldn't tell if it was the alcohol or what, but it became tiring to deal with her constant teasing about the same thing. When choosing my apartment for living alone, being far from my brother's family was a must, as I was fed up with her. However, I got along well with my niece, Mia. Mia, who turns 10 this year, apparently goes to school carrying a cute light blue backpack. I've never actually seen her in it, but she told me about it when she came over to my place to play.
Amy, you're so good at drawing.
Mia, watching me work on my illustrations, was admiring the artwork on the computer screen with excitement.
I wish I could draw too. Ooh.
Oh, wanna try?
Can I?
Yay, there's still plenty of time before the deadline, so you can give it a shot for a bit. Mia sat in front of the computer and began moving the pen with delight. The drawing she made on the screen that day was of her light blue backpack. She had also mentioned how it was heavy because she had to carry her tablet device in it. Even with a water bottle, which would make it even heavier in the summer, she's so small yet manages it all. I'm truly impressed. Mia told me that her mom, Sue, was a stay-at-home mom, and when John was away on business trips, she would do whatever she wanted. For dinner or lunch on school holidays, they would just buy pre-made meals from gas stations or supermarkets.
Me does the laundry most of the time, and Mom only does it occasionally.
Really?
Yeah. And, Mom gets really mad just because my shoes are muddy from gym class.
Why, what does your mom do at home?
She's always on her smartphone or watching TV.
Mia would stay in her room or go out to the park or library to avoid upsetting her mom. That makes me wonder about her parenting, but I wasn't sure if it was my place to say anything. There was another time when the family got together, and I saw Sue scolding Mia harshly for something minor, like spilling tea, which could easily be wiped up with a cloth. I thought it wasn't something to get so angry about.
Mom is scary. She gets mad no matter what I say. I can't say anything.
As she left that day after drawing the light blue backpack, her offhand remark lingered in my mind like a splinter, refusing to fade away. I remembered that she was left with me because Sue was going on a day trip with some mom friends over a weekend with nice weather. I never imagined that a similar message would arrive on my smartphone just a few days later. It was around the time when the foliage in the nearby park had fully turned red, and the chilly weather started to make us crave the warmth of the sun. When I returned to my apartment after running a quick errand, I saw a girl standing alone by the parking lot. Seeing her with the light blue backpack on, her face half hidden by a mask but still somehow familiar, took me aback. Mia. When I called out to her, her anxious eyes looked back at me. It was indeed Mia. What are you doing here alone, and what's with the luggage? Next to her was a small suitcase, making it seem as if she had run away from home.
My mom said to go to Amy's house.
Seeing the question marks over my head, Mia pointed at my bag, implying something about my phone. Could there be a message on my smartphone? I hurriedly pulled out my smartphone from my bag, and there was indeed a message from Sue, sent just a while ago.
Amy, sorry for this sudden notice. I'm going on a trip with a friend for a month starting today. Please take care of my daughter.
As I finished reading, an unintelligible exclamation escaped my lips, but I quickly closed my mouth. Of course, I was confused, but so was Mia, so I decided to bring her into my apartment first. Once inside and her mask removed, her cheeks were as red as apples, and her hands were very cold. I made her some hot cocoa to warm up and offered her some snacks at my home while listening to her story. Mia had been drawing in her notebook until just before. According to her, Sue barged into her room without knocking, handed her a suitcase, and said,
Mia, you're going to Amy's house now. Get ready. Mom won't be home for a month, so make sure you bring your backpack with you. Okay, got it.
Yeah.
And so, Mia packed her notebook, pencil case, textbooks, and tablet into her backpack and hurriedly got ready. Meanwhile, Sue was on the phone, seemingly very excited.
Really? That's awesome. Hey, are you already drinking? That's too early.
Sue's voice apparently echoed through the house with high spirits. From downstairs, Mia heard a laughter that was different from her mother's usual one, and she ended up covering her ears. After the phone call ended, Sue's usual voice returned, and then Mia was driven to that place and left behind with the luggage. When Mia got out of the car, she was told, "Stay here and be a good girl for Amy for a month," and she waited for me under the cold sky. Despite the sunshine, it was quite a chilly season. I couldn't help but feel angry when I thought about what Sue would do if Mia caught a cold. Wait, does Dad know about this?
I don't think so. Mom doesn't really keep in touch with him much.
While munching on chocolate cookies, she said, "It was cute how cookie crumbs were stuck on her cheek." Feeling it was wrong not to inform my brother John about the situation, I decided to call him later.
Hey, Amy. I don't want to be with Mom anymore.
Suddenly, Mia said this while staring at the rim of her juice glass. The girl who had been happily eating cookies just moments ago now had a troubled expression, uncharacteristic for a 10-year-old girl. Why?
Because Mom gets angry easily, throws trash cans, and I hate it.
Throw trash cans.
We haven't done anything wrong, but she keeps telling me to get away or get lost and throwing them at me. Even if I tell the school teacher, they won't believe me. I'm so done with this.
Tears started rolling down her cheeks, big and heavy. It must have been very hard for her, as she cried uncontrollably for a while, and I just waited, patting her back and offering tissues until she calmed down. Clearly, the situation was not normal. Convinced of this, I decided to call John to see if he could come back and help. Stepping away for a moment, I brainstormed how to explain the situation to him, away from Mia's sight. Then, an idea came to me. All right, this could work. I murmured softly and made a phone call to John.
Wait, Mia. Yeah. What happened?
As I explained the situation, John seemed quite shaken. His voice was trembling slightly. At first, he tried to joke about it, saying things like "what a joke" or "not funny," but it seemed like he believed what I was saying was true, and in the end, he listened to me seriously. When I shared my plan with him, John agreed and promised to adjust his work and vacation to help out. "All right, thanks. Count on me to look after Mia." I hung up, then proceeded to delete the message from Sue on my smartphone. Glancing towards the living room, wondering if Mia had calmed down, I tiptoed back. Tonight, I decided to splurge a little and treat her to something delicious. Thinking this, I made my way back, step by step. Mia's school is a bit far from here, but I managed to explain the situation to the school and arranged for her to take the bus. Then, carrying the heavy backpack with her tablet in it might become a bit easier for her. Planning to bill John for the bus pass later, I spent my days working from home as usual. Mia didn't have after-school activities or daycare, so she would come home and do her homework.
Amy, can you check my work?
I was surprised. I thought that was a teacher's job, but according to Mia, it was different.
All my classmates have their moms checked. Me always did it myself.
Realizing how self-centered Sue had been, I picked up a red pen. After checking her homework, it was time to start preparing dinner. When I stood in the kitchen, Mia followed and pleaded with her eyes, "I want to help. Today we're making meatloaf, so could you start by peeling the onions?"
Sure.
Mia peeled the onions faster than I expected, and followed every cooking instruction flawlessly. I wondered if she had learned this somewhere, but there was no time to ask, as dinner was ready before I knew it. Days like these repeated, and before we knew it, a month had flown by. Looking at the calendar, I anticipated Sue's call, and sure enough, it came.
Amy, thanks for taking care of my daughter over the past month. I'll come to pick her up tomorrow.
What are you talking about? I replied calmly. Sue, having been on a trip for a month, still seemed to be at the station, as I could hear the train announcements over the phone.
Wait, what? What are you saying? She's supposed to be with you, right? Because I left Mia at your apartment, so you should know.
I haven't seen her. What are you talking about?
Stop playing dumb. I sent you a message, so you must know.
I didn't get any message. Are you sure you didn't mix up the number?
No, that can't be. That's impossible.
Sue, apparently panicked, screamed over the phone.
What are you going to do about this? I left Mia in your care. If anything happens, it's on you. I'll call her too.
With a shrill voice full of anger, she abruptly hung up the phone. After a while, there was another call, and Sue was yelling again. It seems she tried calling Mia's kid's smartphone, but couldn't get through, and was still panicking. Sue, why don't you go home first and calm down?
That's true. Nice. I'm going home now.
After that, I could hear Sue arguing with another person, seemingly a man, although the conversation was too faint to understand. The room fell silent once again, as quiet as the calm before the storm. Eventually, Sue got home and came rushing down the hallway, her footsteps echoing loudly. As she entered the living room, her face, wild with disarray, turned pale upon seeing me, John, and Mia together. Sue seemed shocked, her mouth opening and closing as if to say, "Why are all three of you together?" without making a sound.
I've just heard everything from these two, Sue. And we heard the earlier phone call too.
What?
We put the phone on speaker so we could all listen. It makes it easier to discuss what happens next. By the way, Mia's smartphone was turned off, so it was natural that Sue couldn't reach her.
What have you done?
That's my line. I said I didn't know, but the truth is that I've been taking care of Mia here for a month. What's with this sudden trip and leaving her stranded in front of someone else's house?
I sent you a message.
That's not the point. John carefully chose his words and spoke calmly.
Let's stay calm, everyone. Mia's here too. So, Sue, it's true you left Mia and went on a trip by herself. And you just got back, looking at your outfit and luggage.
Sue was dressed in a warm coat and seemed ready for an outing. Her suitcase bulged, presumably with souvenirs and new clothes. She didn't deny it, but started making excuses.
I did go on a trip. I needed a break from being a housewife. The daily routine of laundry and cooking. It's all so repetitive and stressful. Going out with friends should be allowed.
Is that friend the person in these emails? I presented several sheets of paper. They contained email exchanges with what seemed to be Sue's affair partner, discussing travel plans. The emails weren't just recent, they dated back till last spring, including the day I watched Mia for a day, when she went flower viewing with this person. The supposed day trip with mom friends was a blatant lie. Sue covered her mouth, as if admitting guilt. Actually, a few hours before Sue arrived, I had searched her computer at Mia's request and found these emails as evidence. Mia had noticed her mom frequently on her smartphone, messaging someone she suspected wasn't her dad. Her suspicions turned into certainty when she saw a message from an unknown man on the phone of her mom, who was asleep in the living room at the time. Also, the voice of the person her mom was talking to on the phone was occasionally audible for Mia, but it wasn't her dad's voice. Mia had told me 6 months ago that she thought her mom was having an affair. I was skeptical until I checked the computer just now and realized Mia's hunch was correct. John, trying to stay calm, was visibly shaking.
How could you do this? Trusting you, and you leave Mia with Amy to go off on an affair.
John approached Sue, his hands trembling.
It's a misunderstanding. I was forced to go on that trip.
What forced you to leave for a month? Come up with something better.
I was threatened, believe me, Mia. You believe me, sweetie.
Suddenly turned to Mia calmly and plainly responded.
Mom, you were so happy on the phone before you left. And you made me do all the cooking and cleaning while you just slept.
Mia glared at Sue, seizing the moment.
And you told me not to stay up late but went out in the middle of the night and came back in the morning to sleep on the floor. You were always contradicting yourself.
Hearing this, John pressed on.
Going out in the middle of the night means you were out partying.
No, that's not it, Mia. Be quiet.
I quickly showed John the photos on my smartphone. The photo captured Sue's back as she left the house late at night, dressed flamboyantly. This was taken a few months ago when Mia contacted me, and I happened to be nearby. I was shocked too. Where were you going at that time, Sue?
No, my.
Cornered by the photo, she seemed to give up and slumped to the ground.
I can't believe this. I can't leave Mia with you anymore. Let's get a divorce. I'll be asking for alimony, too. From now on, you can do as you please with that man.
John said this with a heavy heart, and then turned his back on Sue.
A divorce? You're kidding, right? Don't you think it's sad for Mia to not have her mother? What about you, Mia? Help me out here.
No. Absolutely not. Amy is more like a mom to me.
I felt incredibly embarrassed for her, as an adult, to be pleading with her own child like that. Mia brushed off Sue like that. During the time Mia stayed with me, I made sure to spend as much time with her as possible, talking about school, hobbies, and her dreams for the future. Of course, cooking together was one of those activities. Don't worry, Sue, I'll make sure Mia is happy, I said with a smile, and Sue just slumped further, saying nothing more. Half a year later, the divorce between her and John went through, and custody was granted to John. Sue was taken back to her hometown by her parents. The man she had an affair with, whom she met online, disappeared as soon as he found out about the divorce, ending their communication. It was already too late when Sue realized she had been played. She was left with a hefty sum of alimony and child support payments, which she couldn't afford with her savings alone, relying on her parents to cover more than half. After that, her parents kept a close watch on her, and she wasn't allowed to go out late at night anymore. Furthermore, the gossip about her not taking her daughter with her after the divorce spread in her hometown, making her reluctant to leave her house. Still, she'll have to return to the workforce eventually, but what happens next is unknown to me, John, or Mia. John and Mia decided to rent out their house and moved to a different floor in the same apartment building I live in. John plans to use the rental income to pay off the loan and save for Mia. I began visiting them almost daily. John, regretting not being there for Mia and focusing too much on work, decided to change jobs. Transitioning to a new career in your 40s can be quite challenging, but he originally had excellent sales performance and strong communication skills, to the extent that he could have held some position of authority. Therefore, his job search didn't drag on for too long. It took about 6 months, during which he received job offers from 2 or 3 companies, and eventually started working for one of them. I was surprised to learn of his capabilities, that's for sure. It seems that he preferred field sales during his time at the previous company, and had been gently declining any discussions about promotions.
I didn't want to stay on the same floor of the same company all the time.
For that reason, but your new job is fully remote, right?
Yeah, but it's interesting to talk to different people. Plus, being with Mia is the most important thing.
Mia is still attending school, with her light blue backpack on her back, Moving meant she had to change schools, which was sad for her, but she seemed to quickly adapt and enjoy her new school life. Mia, have you gotten used to your new school yet? While we were making dinner together, I asked Mia, and she giggled.
Yeah. I made a friend in the class next door.
Already, that was quick. Mia nodded shyly.
Yeah. We're going to make meatloaf at her house next time.
That sounds fun.
Yeah.
Seeing her smile so brightly made me smile too. Her dream is to open a Western-style restaurant one day. Considering she's only 10, it's impressive she has such a solid dream. She told me why.
My friend, like me, doesn't have a mom who cooks for her, so she makes her own meals. She said she wants to cook for people who don't have anyone to make meals for them, just like us.
I see.
I think it would be nice if I could do that too. That's why I'm practicing making meatloaf.
Her innocent smile stirred a complex emotion in me, but I quickly put on a smile and said, "That's great, Mia's meatloaf is delicious. I want lots of people to try it."
Thank you.
She looks so brave and radiant, facing forward like this. Her dream won't end as mere fantasy or delusion. I'm eagerly looking forward to the day Mia grows up and opens her restaurant.